Good morning. It's time to call to order the Oklahoma City Airport Trust meeting for May 28, 2015. First item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the April 23, 2015 Oklahoma City Airport Trust meeting.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please cast your votes. And the minutes are approved. Next thing on our agenda is to approve the Oklahoma City Airport Trust budget for fiscal year 2016.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We will be asking for your approval, but I do have a short presentation this morning so that I can give you an overview of the FY16 budget. If you look at our sources of funds for fiscal year 16, you can see as we compare next year's budget to the budget we're in today that our operating and capital budgets have been reduced. Our operating budget was decreased to nearly $14 million, and this is primarily due to a decrease in the rental payments from the Federal Bureau of Prisons, and also the fact that we made our last debt service payment related to that same facility. We also have a decrease in the anticipated funding that we're expecting to get from the Federal Aviation Administration in the form of grant revenues this next year. Our capital budget also decreased to a little over $24 million, and this is mainly due to many of the large multi-year construction projects such as the rental car center, the checked baggage inspection system, and also the terminal generator project, which are starting to wind down in early 2016. In reviewing the sources of funds, I show you these slides each year so you can kind of see the major categories of our sources. We're anticipating total airport charges to our tenants and users of $50,668,000. And these major categories of revenues are building rents, which are comprised of lease payments for hangars and buildings, including the terminal building. Landing fees are charged to passengers and freight carriers. This is how we recover our cost of operating the airfield, and they're calculated on a rate per 1,000 pounds of landed weight. Our parking revenues are related to our public parking operation for all of our garages and surface lots. And then we also receive concession revenues. These are gross commissions for the food and beverage and retail concessionaires in the terminal building, as well as rental car commissions. Fuel sales revenues are derived from the fuel flowage fees. We receive a certain amount per gallon of each gallon that's retailed on all three of our airports, or some leases have self-fueling privileges, and we receive revenues from each gallon filled with those operators as well. And then we have other airport charges, which is mainly comprised of maintenance reimbursements associated with our facility leases and ground rentals and apron fees. We also have other sources of revenue as well that we're projecting of $27,368,000. We receive oil and gas revenues, interest on our investments. The passenger facility charges are important to us because they supplement funding for our capital program for projects that are related to the movement of baggage and passengers. And then customer facility charges are the charges that we've started a couple of years ago on a per transaction day basis, and this is funding the construction for the new rental car facility. And each year we get federal and state participation in the form of grants from the Oklahoma Aeronautics Commission and the Federal Aviation Administration. We get these grants from the FAA for airfield projects and certain equipment purchases, and sometimes we have reimbursable agreements from the Transportation Security Administration. Anticipating $23,931,000, and this is for carryover, which is the Mike Monroney Aeronautical Center escrow account, and also prior year revenues that will support our capital program. And finally, bond proceeds, which is the bond proceeds that we intend to use on construction this next year, a little over $8.5 million. So the carryover revenue bond proceeds and the combined projected revenues of $78,036,000 will comprise the budget we're asking for of $110,539,000. When we look at the the uses of funds to balance the budget, we have other services and fees. This represents some of our major contracts, such as our parking management contract, janitorial contract, aircraft rescue and firefighting operation, and supplemental security contracts. We have commodities, which are very materials and supplies. We have debt requirements. This is financing prior construction projects, such as the last terminal renovation, the most recent parking garage, and the rental car facility. And then the transfer to the airport's cash fund, which is our departmental operational account. We also have reserves each year. These are estimated funds that we think we'll have in 2016 that we can use for capital of $2,658,000. And then finally, a capital outlay of $65,205,000, which balances the budget. I want to show you a picture of the new buses that we purchased for the new rental car facility that will open up after the first of the year. We purchased 8 buses, almost $3 million, and these are 35-foot low-floor CNG buses, and they're very, very nice. I think they're going to be a first-class ride for our customers to and from the new facility in the terminal. I want to thank the trustees for helping us purchase several pieces of equipment this past year to allow us to be more capable and more efficient operating the airport. We purchased a new aircraft rescue and firefighting vehicle. It's a rescue vehicle. Our old vehicle was mainly just a first response vehicle, and it was not very dependable. This vehicle has water foam capability, carries a great amount of hose. It also can respond to vehicle emergencies inside the parking garage, where before we had trouble accessing those vehicles, and it's going to be great for fighting wildfires and grass fires, which we sometimes have on the airport. We also purchased 2 new snow blowers this past year. This was an FAA project that was 90% funded by the Federal Aviation Administration. Our old blowers were 1988 models. They moved about 3,000 tons of snow per hour. However, they had a lot of components that were not in stock anymore, so it was making repairs quite difficult. These new blowers move 5,000 tons of snow per hour. They have a lot better visibility in the cab for the operator, a lot higher engine horsepower. We will, however, keep the old snow blowers as a backup. And then the hydro blasting vehicle was our most recent purchase. We have a requirement to remove paint and rubber deposits off the thresholds of all of our runways. And we had a previous process would use 4 to 6 people and 4 to 6 pieces of equipment, and this vehicle allows us to remove paint and rubber in a fraction of the time that it did before, and it also prevents not as much downtime for the runways and taxiways as we maintain the airfield. I want to talk a little bit about the tunnel enhancement project that we've been involved with the last year, and we hope that this project will be complete in the next 4 or 5 weeks, and that's why we're putting it as a completed project for this year. This is where we light the quarter-mile pedestrian tunnel, new ceiling tiles, lighting. This lighting will have the capability of being able to change the colors. What you don't see here are the 19 video monitors, which will be a video wall, which will be in the shape of an aircraft fuselage, so when customers and passengers walk by, they'll be able to see the outside, sort of like you're looking outside of an airplane, and you can see different schemes that we can program with the video wall, such as the skyline of Paris and so forth. Have a lot of other additional projects that we've completed at all 3 of our airports, and we also had some at Mike Monroney Aeronautical Center. So total completed projects for this last year was $9,340,000. Going forward, looking at the projects that are either ongoing or will be new for this next year, we're going to be bidding out the north phase of the Portland Realignment Project. Public Works has just finished the south phase, which was from Southwest 104th Street north to about Southwest 74th Street, and we'll be bidding the north portion, which will take it the improvement up to Southwest 54th Street. To remind you, this is replacing a portion of the existing Portland Avenue, which is a 2-lane blacktop road, not very good condition, to a 4-lane concrete with curb and gutter, esplanade lighting, a median, and lots of landscaping. We're underway with our terminal expansion project, and we're anticipating about $4 million for the terminal design. This is a capacity-driven project, mainly so we can increase gate capacity at Will Rogers World Airport, but we'll also use the opportunity to improve some airport functionality and to improve passenger processing by taking all 3 of our current checkpoints and consolidating them into one checkpoint. The first part of this project will be to build an extension to the east end of the terminal building, followed by a phase 1 expansion of an east concourse that will one day mirror the west concourse that we have today by building 3 gates. Consolidated rental car facility is well underway. We're anticipating $5.3 million for FY16. This is a $32 million project on a 40-acre site, and the intent is to meet current and future demand for ready return spaces. It will also consolidate all of the rental car company functions to include all of the fleet storage and administrative space, vehicle fueling, wash bays, and vehicle maintenance. And this project, again, should be complete by just after the 1st of 2016. Our checked baggage inspection system, this is a $16 million project. We're well underway with this project, probably better than 75% completed. We have 2 airlines that are already active, American and United. There's a change order actually on this trust will facilitate putting Southwest Airlines on the new system very, very soon. This is to replace the single feed system that we installed after 9/11, and this will actually give us better efficiency in handling bags, and it will promote enhanced bag screening. Another major FAA project we have on the airfield, $8 million project. We anticipate in fiscal year 16 spending about $2.4 million, and this is replacing the asphalt portions of taxiway C and G with concrete. The signage upgrade replacement project, all the concepts have been designed, and a few months ago we brought those concepts to you for approval, and we're going to be underway soon with the developing the plans and specifications so that we can go out and implement the roadway signage, and also I want to do the garage signage as a first project. Later doing the terminal building and the new expansion will also incorporate the new signage. You see in the bottom right insert what the new signage on the roadway will look like. The terminal generator project is $4.3 million. We've been underway with that for a few months, budgeting a little over $1.6 million, and this will again allow us to be 100% backup capable, totally self-sufficient in the case we have power outages from either inclement weather or severe storms, and also ice and snow events. Sometimes we have events that happen outside the airport boundary that cut our power, and it's a huge impact to airport operations and our tenants and users. We have a lot of other projects that we're planning. Just wanted to give you a list of some of those. Taxiway H is a project that we actually are approving the plans and specifications today. And you can see that for the total of all projects going forward for FY16, $37,742,000. Some of the projects for general aviation going forward also on this trust today, we're asking you to approve the bid specs for Phase 2 of the Wiley Post Airfield Improvement Projects, a little over $4.7 million. This will mainly deal with taxiway B, lights and signs, and also some runway 17 left and 35 right work as far as lighting and signage and pavement work. The Wiley Post Airport Maintenance Facility is really old. It's aged over 40, 50 years old. You can see it's in pretty bad condition. It doesn't have enough room for staff, and we can't service our vehicles and equipment. And so we have under design now, and we're about finished with that, a facility that will expand this, and then there's going to be a new part of the facility, so we're anticipating about $1 million budget for that. And then we have some other projects, airfield miscellaneous improvement projects and facility improvements, so a total for general aviation projects going forward for FY16, $7,326,000. At Mike Monroney, we've had a project going on for a couple of years now. This is the HVAC 2011 through 2015 projects. We finished Phase 1. We're into Phase 2 now, and there will be a Phase 3. This actually is encompassing 10 different buildings at Mike Monroney's campus, and it will involve changing out major mechanical systems such as cooling towers, chillers, boilers, and air handling units. And we also have a roof replacement project where we're actually doing roof replacements and some building envelope repairs on 3 different buildings for a little over $1.4 million at Mike Monroney. We're also doing apron pavement repairs for hangar 8 and 9. These are the apron that is just adjacent to the airfield on the far east side of Mike Monroney's campus, and this is a very large apron. It's 17 acres long. Other projects for Mike Monroney we're carving out for this next year, a total of new projects and ongoing of $20,137,000. I always like to show you the summary of how all of our capital projects break out with regard to our 3 airports, and including Mike Monroney Aeronautical Center, and how the funding breaks out. And you can see that we get a lot of leverage from other revenue sources. On the table at the far left, you see the FAA Airport Improvement Program, AIP program for eligible airfield projects and certain equipment. We also get Transportation Security Administration funds, sometimes in the form of reimbursable agreements, such as what's going on now with our baggage system. Our passenger facility charge revenues, this is mainly paying for the last terminal renovation and the baggage system project we're underway with. The customer facility charge revenues, we're anticipating this is what is helping to pay for the construction of the rental car facility. And in most of our leases, we have tenant maintenance funds where we have lessor responsibilities for exterior and structure and roofs and pavements. And there's some escrow funds that come in with their lease payments, and we hold those in escrow to do capital improvements for those responsibilities that are ours. And then also for next year, we're anticipating contributing a little over $23 million in Airport Trust revenues to meet our capital needs. The changes to the cash fund, this is by lines of business. We're anticipating $17,367,000. Our summary of our changes, we have 2 new positions that we're asking for this year. One will be a senior project manager to oversee the terminal expansion project. The other is a federal program manager, and this person will manage the application and reporting processes for all of our federal and state grants, which is becoming more and more of a responsibility for reporting, and we're getting many more grants than we used to. Also, we have just an increase in insurance benefits and salaries for other departmental employees, $361,000. And then we have a slight decrease in city-provided services, and that's mainly due to a reduction in some property insurance. That's the budget for FY16. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Mark. Any questions from trustees? Yes,
Mark, on the Federal Transfer Center on that lease, so once we paid off the debt, does their rent go away, or what happens on that?
We have paid the last payment, yes. They still have a lease with the airport, and they'll still be paying ground rentals, but all of our other responsibilities for the debt service is over with. They were paying actually revenues then, and we were using those revenues to pay the debt service.
any other questions? Hearing none, what do the trustees desire with respect to approving the budget? We have a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a second. Any questions? Please cast your votes. And the budget is approved. Director's report.
Thank you, Trust. No director's report.
How about Will Rogers Road Airport then, sir?
Thank you. We have several items. Item A is to approve a change order number 9 to our contract with Terrace Global Incorporated. This is for our checked baggage inspection system. We're adding $50,140.05 in 14 days. Item B is approving change order 13 to the contract with Manhattan Construction Company for the rental car facility, adding $52,289.31 in 19 days. C is change order 4 to our contract with TTK Construction Company. This is replacing the asphalt portions of taxiway C&G with concrete, adding 39 days, and this is all for the inclement weather that we've had. D is approving the substantial completion for our generator airfield lighting replacement project and accepting that project. Item E is approving change order 2 to the contract with Wind Construction for our 100% power generation project for the terminal building and tunnel. This is adding $22,132.90. F is approving change order number 1 with Terra Construction for the roof replacement and building repairs for several buildings at Mike Monroney, adding $3,602.47 in 38 days. 36 of those 38 were for weather. G is approving the plans and project manual submitted by MacArthur. Associated Consultants, LLC. This is for the FAA project. We intend to make application for this next year to replace the asphalt portion of Taxiway H with concrete. We're asking advertisement for bids to be open on June 23rd. H is also approving a substantial completion for the Terminal High Bay roof replacement project, accepting that project. Item I is just adopting the resolution declaring some surplus property. J is approving addendums 1, 2, and 3 for our request for proposals for the management contract for our parking operation, concurring with the selection committee's recommendation and authorizing negotiation of a contract with ABM Parking Services. Item K is a navigation easement we're asking you to accept for a development in the vicinity of Will Rogers World Airport by Shaz Investment Group, LLC. And last is a bid to be open on June 23rd for a stair vehicle so that we can access vehicles that are not able to access the jet bridges. Those are all the items for Will Rogers.
You've heard the items under Will Rogers. Questions from the trustees? Action by the trustees.
Move the item.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please cast your votes. And is so done. Wiley Post Airport and Currency Page.
Two items for general aviation. A is to approve the plans and project manual for airfield infrastructure repairs and improvements. This is the Phase 2 project I mentioned earlier in my presentation, authorizing bids to be open June 23rd. And B is to approve amendment number 2 to the contract with Libra Electric. This is for the Phase 1 project, adding $1,599.72.
You've heard the two items under Wiley Post and currency page. We have a motion.
Second.
Second. Any questions? Please cast your votes. So ordered. Next, general.
Item A is to receive the delinquent accounts receivable report, construction project status report, and the budget to actual report as of April 30th. Item B is approving amendment number 1 to the facilities maintenance engineering agreement with Frankfurt Short Bruza. This is renewing their contract for 1 year beginning June 1st. And C is amendment number 2 to the annual maintenance contract we have with Rudy Construction. This is their last renewal for paving repairs and maintenance, 1 year or $300,000, whichever comes first. Those are the items under general.
For the items under general,
Move approval.
Second.
we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Cast your votes, and it is approved. Lease and other agreements.
Item A is to approve the revised Exhibit C payment schedule. This is for the annual lease with Metro Technology Center School District Number 22, beginning July 1st. Item B is approve amendment number 1 to the cooperative service agreement we have with the Wildlife Services Division for the Oklahoma Department of Agriculture, Food, and Forestry. This is to actually pay for 2 full-time wildlife biologists that we have assist us in our wildlife management programs for all 3 airports. Item C is approving supplement number 1 to our professional services contract with InterVistas. This is just a name change. Item D is approving the lease and operations agreement with Runway Cafe at Wiley Post Airport, that operates the restaurant in the terminal building. And last is item E to approve a couple of ground services agreements for ground transportation services at Will Rogers. Those are all the items under leases and other agreements.
You've heard the items under leases and other agreements.
Move the item.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? And it is so done. Roman numeral 9, adopting the requisition resolution.
Move approval.
We have motion to approve. We have a second. Any discussion? And it is so ordered. Comments from trustees? Seeing none. Comments from staff? Again, seeing none. Any comments from any citizen who would like to be heard? Seeing none, that concludes our business. We are adjourned.